so
Thank you.
I can easily start. As you could see, my name is Kelvin. I'm Kelvin Arana. I'm a Fulbright scholar here at USC. I'm doing my master's in electrical engineering. I am originally from Nicaragua, so I'm a native Spanish speaker. I guess you too, Simon and Andre, speak Spanish. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be making this. This is like an effort that Jorge made up from scratch. He came with this idea to try to provide like more information even prior for coming to USC. If you decide to come, that's what we understood. Um, and also like feel free to reach out and make any question like in the middle. Like this is not supposed to be formal. We try to make it like between students, between friends, so we can help each other.
Thank you, Kelvin. Yeah, I can go. So hi, I'm Jorge. I'm from Mexico, and hi. Sorry, I'm in the library. So I'm doing my master's in healthcare data science. This is my second year. I started in fall 2022, and yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that we have a lot of people, like a lot of current Fulbright students at USC from different areas, from different schools. We have Iskar, but yeah, I'll let them introduce. So thank you for being here. Uh, Betul, you can go.
Hello. I wanted to share my video, but I couldn't. So I am Betul. I am doing my master's in USC. I am also first year student. I'm doing master's in computer science, and I am originally from the Turkey. And this is very nice to see you here today. And we are happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alan. I am doing my master's in civil engineering here at USC. I'm on second semester. And yeah, it's very nice to meet you all and hope to see you here next semester.
Hi everyone, my name is Iskar, and
Iskar.
yeah, I'm a PhD student at the Population Health and Place at Dornsife, and please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me too if you want.
Guys, if you could introduce yourself, like that'll be good, so we can have like a little more background and try to tailor what we said. So it'll be really nice. Also, if you want to share your videos, you're more than welcome to. Yeah, go on, Andre. You don't have to raise your hand. You just talk.
Okay, perfect. Hi guys, nice to meet you. I have already met Jorge and Alan. Nice to see you guys. I'm Andre from Mexico, and I'm interested in the master's degree in computer science for scientists and engineers. So it is good to meet you guys.
Thank you, thank you. Betul then will really help you. She's doing the same program, basically.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Well, I'm Simon. I'm also interested in the same masters for the AI specialization.
Cool.
And well, I'm glad to meet you and to hear someone speak Spanish in this kind of meeting. So it's awesome to be here.
No,
I
nada de
am
español,
from-
nada de español. ¿Qué es eso?
Forbidden. Well, I'm from Argentina, and I got my Fulbright grant last year in 2023. So I'm trying to get into different universities to see which in which one I can find some financial aid and which is the best one for me.
Good, good. Thank you very much. We have someone else that you just joined. Feel free to open your microphone and talk and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Donatus Ochoa, and I'm not joining actually to USC, but I'm joining UCLA. So I just want to know how it's living at ELA.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, guys.
No,
Thanks.
no problem. More than welcome here.
Thank you.
Kelvin.
Yeah, I can start. I will.
Oh,
Jorge,
but
go ahead.
wait. So we can see just loading. We can't see the presentation.
The presentation. Okay.
Yeah, it says loading. Maybe you can
Okay,
try
let
that.
me figure out again. Not working?
Nope. It says just loading. Let me check.
Let me go again. Can you see something now?
Just white.
White screen. Yeah.
Nice. Still white?
Yep.
Yep.
It's telling me that my sharing screen is paused. Okay, let me check again.
Just
Yeah, there you go. I
There you
can
go.
see it.
There you go.
Okay, my bad. Sorry for that. Okay. Thank you for that, guys. Also, before I start, I want to ask you, like, if you're comfortable sharing, like, if you already took the decision to come to USC. As Tana said that he's not coming, but that's completely fine. Simon and Andre, are you like committed already, or are you still in the process of deciding?
I'm still on the process.
Okay.
Me too. I'm just waiting for my official letter for financial support. So
Okay.
it is supposed to arrive these following days, and depending on that, yeah,
Okay.
hopefully so.
Okay. Okay. All right. We all know how stressful, complicated can be this process of getting all the documents. Whenever you're coming, like you need to figure out like a lot of things. Like getting the yes from Fulbright, it's like a really big thing. But then making it happen and look and deciding for the university, it's another big deal. We completely understand you guys. We've been in your shoes a few years ago. And we're trying to do this just to give you like a little glimpse of something that is happening here at USC. And I think that we are one of the few universities that we have like, or have we created like a strong like community of Fulbrights. So we came up with this idea, and we created a Fulbright Trojans Association. This is actually the logo that we use. But at the end, this is just a space for us to meet each, each other and to know each other. Like if you see like Iscar, Jorge, I just see these guys normally on campus. Well, it's Iscar not that much, but Jorge, I say hi to him. So for us, this is something really like a good space that we can find support also to navigate through all this process. So the whole idea is that I will make like a little presentation. Feel free to interrupt and make questions at any time. It's not gonna be too much. And then we're gonna give like the whole space to answer your questions. And you can ask us like whatever you think it's important for you. You can ask us like how expensive it's LA to how it's the financial support. And we're gonna try to answer as much as possible. I think on this case, the tool is gonna be the expert because if you have like an interest in computer science, she will definitely know way more than any of us. But up to this point, guys, any question, any doubt before I start?
No,
So we can meet the questions at the end of the presentation, right? You'll let us know when
Yeah, of
to
course.
start
Yeah.
asking. Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
want to make also a question at the middle of the presentation, you're also more than welcome to
Perfect.
do
Thank
it. You
you.
just speak and we stop and we start just chatting because that's the whole idea of this.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. So as I was telling you, here on the US, I don't know how familiar you are. Much of the things relate around student clubs. So we try to create one for Fulbright people because we realized that we were not that few up here at USC. And then when we mix with the people from UCLA, you will see that we're like pretty much a decent amount of people. So the idea is that we create a community around here at USC that we try to promote some cultural exchange. For me, it's been really nice to hang out with people from Pakistan, from Japan, from Russia, from basically all over the world. And this started as something that we were feeling alone. We're on a new place, on a new city, on a new language, which makes a lot of complications. But then we were realizing that we have people with a lot of things that we can share. And as you can see, these are like some of the stuff that we've been participating. You can see some faces in there. And it's basically the whole idea of trying to create support throughout this journey. Talking about diversity, this is something that we always forget or we take it as granted because LA is a really diverse place and USC is even more. But then when we come to the Fulbright community, we have people from all over the world. As you could see, there's a lot of representation from Mexico, which we're really nearby. There's also a good representation from people from Pakistan. So, but then you have like a broad spectrum, people from Vietnam, from Turkey, from Singapore, from Belgium, from Brazil. And at the end of the day, like there are some events that we organize and that we put all together, all these people. Mostly, we try to be all of us at the same time. But you can have a glimpse of how it's the Fulbright community at USC. In terms of the academic fields of study, it's more than clear that high inclination is going towards computer science. But at the end of the day, you could see also that you have the broad spectrum from urban planning to architecture, biology, chemistry. So you can have like a whole glimpse. But mostly the Fulbright community is engineering students that belong to the Viterbi School of Engineering. So that's something that, as you could see here, we are mostly all of us from Viterbi, with the exception of Iskar, that he belongs to another school, to another faculty, to another department. I don't know how you manage it on your country, but that's like to give you like a little glimpse. Then we created or we try to provide some assistance throughout this journey. And we created this website. This is a website that we're still, I call it under development because there's always something that we need to add, some parts that we can improve. But this is exactly only for Fulbright Trojans. So we provide some resources in terms of housing, in terms of contact, and we just put there ideas that we think are valuable for new incoming people or when people that is just coming here to navigate throughout the university life. So we will encourage you to, if you have some time, just to check it out. We're gonna give you the links, and you could see that there is like a space that you could have for making questions and finding answers. That is something really, really important throughout this process. This is then I want to share. This is something new that we just updated. Actually, this was developed like 5-6 months ago because we started talking to the Office of International Services here at USC. And we have really good contact with the lady that that takes care about J1 students. That is the visa status that all Fulbrights get when we come to the US. And she was nice enough to create like a specific section for J1 Fulbrights. So there are some visa requirements, some statuses, some processes, some documents that you need to be pretty aware because this is like your visa and this depends on your stay in here. And we also encourage you to have a look of these to find some answers towards your questions. So we're also going to share these links, but basically is on the main webpage. You're going to see J1 Exchange visitors that we're pointing with the arrow, and then you can go to J1 Fulbrights and you could find a lot of information that can be really useful prior coming and then when you're here. I don't want to go into more details like specifically, but we just want to share you like what are the options and resources that we have. Later on, when you are already here, a big part of you is the experience, not only at classes, not only at the classroom. So it's really important to have spaces that you can laugh, that you can play, that you can listen to some music. And I think we have created like a really nice community of friends that we know each other and we share spaces. We go all together to events. For example, in the middle, in the center of the image, there is a picture that we're doing it with Ann Kerr, that she is the representative of Fulbright for California, or no, for Southern California region, if I'm not mistaken, guys. Can somebody
Yeah.
help me with that?
Yeah, it's for the Fulbright enrichment program for
Yes,
Southern California.
that's for Southern California. So she's a lady really nice, that she organized events not only for USC but for UCLA and all that. And mostly as we're pretty well connected, like there's a huge representation of USC people. So when you go to those events, you will find that we're all together there and you know a lot of people. Then at USC, they also been doing like they call it it's an event when they welcome all the new people, but it's like a really fancy event with food, with music. And actually some of the pictures that are here are from that event and in specific when they put all the people. So these are like spaces that some universities are not like that active, but at least here at USC, we can share the experience that we've been pretty well connected and we try to share resources and opportunities to take advantage of everything that is around here. So this could be, I told you, from academic events to lunch, dinners, or just a simple I'm bored and I want to do something. Then these are the links. You can scan them or we can also put it on the chat if you give me to finish this, and you can have like all the resources and information about what's going on with Fulbrights in USC. Do you want me to keep moving or do you need more time to scan the QR codes? Also, I can share the links on the chat later.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, and basically this is all that we have for now. As I told you, we just want to give you a glimpse of how is the Fulbright Trojan family here at USC. But the most important is that we're here now for you. We want to try to answer your questions and also to share our experiences with you. So I'm gonna stop sharing and we can just start talking, and we want to answer any question that you have, as long as we can answer it, of course.
Yeah, Andre, go ahead.
Yeah, hi guys. I have a few questions. My first question is mostly about housing. Like, I want to know if you guys have lived inside of USC housing or you have lived off campus. Like, what are your experiences and what do you recommend?
I think Jorge
Uh,
could answer that question really well.
oh yeah, because well, the good thing is that we are like, I think we all have like different experiences. So in my case, I choose USC housing because like for me it was very convenient. Like before actually come to USC to send a request for to send my application for USC housing. Yeah, for me it was like very convenient. And actually I'm still living there, and yeah, it's at least my building is very close to campus, so I can walk there, and we have all the things that we need in the building. We have a gym, we have the laundry, yeah, everything, and like the payment, like the rent includes like all the services, Wi-Fi, everything, like the gas, and also it's furnished. It's yeah. So we have the beds, we have the kitchen. So yeah, it depends on what are you looking for. But for me, that was very convenient. But some of the people that are not in USC housing can also share their experiences.
If I may ask you one more question about your answer, do you share your room? I mean, like, do you sleep with someone else? Because I struggle with sleeping, so I wanted to know that.
Yeah, in my case, in my building, it's I mean there are two options, like one apartment for two people, but it's only one room, and one apartment for four people, but it's two rooms. But that's for my building. But there are some others that you can also apply and you can get your own room. Of course, the prices are
Yeah.
higher, but and maybe like the chances to get those spots are more competitive, but you can also apply. I know like some master students that are in like buildings where they have their own room. Yeah.
Perfect. So in your case, so you share your room, like how much is it? Like I'm trying to do the math to see my
uh,
finances.
I'm right now I'm paying $1,040 per month. This is 9-month contract, and also my apartment is for only two people, so that's also different. If you are assigning to one for four people, it's less.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I don't know, maybe Iskar can share his experience because he doesn't live close to campus.
Yes,
So that could
please.
be like another idea. So you could see like the different flavors of how it's doing
Perfect.
that.
Sure. I live far from campus because I'm a PhD student and I moved to LA with my wife and family, so I needed a different kind of space. So I would say the areas within or close to downtown are a bit different. I needed space for more people. So it's in my case, I think the farther you move away from the downtown area, you can find bigger places, not necessarily cheaper. And I also use a lot of public transportation because I live far away. I use public transportation and I've learned to use a lot of the public transportation. So I take public transportation every day to and from school. And it's a long time, but the public transportation is rarely full. So I get a lot of reading done in public transportation. So if you live far from campus, regardless if you come to USC or UCLA or wherever, um, you can do a lot of your homework or reading in the bus or in public transportation. So I would recommend, if you're not coming with a car, to also study the bus routes and what bus routes pass through the places you're going to go to. For example, I chose a place where I knew it's far away, but it's close walking distance to where I can take a bus. And that's important because if you live far from a bus stop, then 2 hours can turn into 3 hours, you know. So if you're going to live further away from campus or if you plan to explore the city, I would recommend you start learning the public transportation before you even arrive to LA. That's what I would say.
Thank you. If I may ask, what about you, Kelvin and Alan? Do you live on campus or off campus? What's your experience?
I can go. I can go, Alan. That's fine. Yeah, so I live at the beginning close to campus. I remember that I was exactly during this time, like on your situation, I asked a friend that he studied on the US, and I asked him like, what's the big deal between living like inside campus and outside? And he told me like, there's not such a big difference. So for me, the decision was mostly based on money because I cannot share a room. That's something that I don't feel comfortable. And for me, paying for a single room on a shared apartment was a little too expensive based on the amount of money that Fulbright was given. So I decided to look for options around campus. So I live at the beginning close to campus. It was a little hard to get it because you don't know too much people, you don't know too much. And I had some relatives here that helped me with that. Then when I was already here, I decided to move like a little far. Now I live farther, but I think the advice from Iskar is really, really important because you could live far, but you can live close to a public transportation. For example, I live like around 12 minutes walking distance from the metro line, and the metro, the train, just passed in front of the university. So I take it that every day. Um, and that works for me. I do a lot of reading too, like for reading. on the buses or the train is doable. Sometimes not the most convenient, but it's something that it's easily done. So I try to do that. But in conclusion, my decision was towards money. I wanted to save like $200, $300 per month. So I didn't decide to live inside USC housing. I decided to go outside to find something more affordable for a single room.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Sure. Any of the Allens that wants to share?
In my case, I did apply to USC housing, and actually the spaces that, well, the space that I was offered was my own room in a two-person apartment. So I was going to be sharing the apartment with someone else, and but having my own room, like sharing bathroom and kitchen, but having my own room. I think that was like, I want to say like $1,200 or $300, I would say. Like that was what was going to cost me. In the end, I just chose a studio apartment, and I'm living, like, this is not university housing, it's just a studio apartment, but it's like 5 minutes away from campus, walking distance. I actually live like right behind the building where Jorge and Alan live. And I'm paying 1,600 per month approx for it. It is kind of expensive, but it is nice that I don't have to spend anything, any money on transportation. I just like 5 minutes away from campus. Yeah, that was my experience.
Thank you, Alan.
Going further into the finances, it seems like half, or obviously depends on the amount of money Fulbright gave you for each grant, but it seems that half the monthly money from Fulbright would be for housing, and the rest, well, for other expenses. Regarding those other expenses like food or like supplies for going to lessons and stuff like that, how is the area in general? Is it very expensive? There are some expensive things, some cheap things. In which categories we should consider we would have an expense that is normally not considered for other, like maybe Latin American countries and things like that?
That's an interesting question. I
Yeah.
would say, like, it's nice living around campus. It's nice that you have like three main options for supermarkets. You have Target and Trader Joe's at the village, and you also have Ralph's pretty close by. From those three, my personal experience has been that Ralph's is the cheapest one, and then Trader Joe's has very good options, and then Target is the most expensive one, I would say. And in groceries, I don't know like how much you spend, guys. For me, I think a good estimate would be like maybe $80 every 1.5 weeks or every 2 weeks, around that amount. It also like depends how often do you eat like street food, like do you buy stuff in campus, or do you cook for yourself? Most of the time I do cook for myself. So it's like around 80 bucks, I would say, every 1.5 weeks or every 2 weeks. That's a good estimate. Transportation, you do get a USC card for the metro and buses, so you don't have to spend anything on transportation, which is a nice thing. And lifts, you get free lifts from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., I think. So yeah, that would like decrease the costs of transportation here in LA. I don't really know if there are any other additional costs. I don't know. What do you guys think would be some additional expenses?
Well, it depends on like situation of each one, But like at the beginning, you need to consider if you need to buy like furniture, like your bed, because some apartments are not furnished. So those are like the expenses that you may have at the beginning of the semester. What else? Also like Wi-Fi, gas, water. If your apartment, if the rent is don't include those services as well. But yeah, it really depends on your specific situation. Like for groceries, I agree with Alan. I think maybe like for me it's like 60 per week. But yeah, it depends. Like if you cook for yourself, it's like cheaper than if you buy food on campus or in restaurants or you order food. So it's very different. In general, I will say like because it's LA, it's expensive compared to our country or even other cities in the US. So yeah, it's expensive, but yeah, it depends. Like I mean, you can find ways to spend less money if you cook for yourself, and yeah, I don't know what else.
Awesome.
I think sort of, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask another question, but let's go first through the previous one.
Yeah, I think that I could say basically the same. I tend to spend a little bit more money because I basically make one meal like outside of my house. But in terms of living close to USC, you're gonna have enough of eating options like or doing groceries. Something that I was really scared when I came because I didn't know how the budget was is like the first month I didn't spend too much money because I wanted to know if I was getting like a lot of money from Fulbright or it was like small money, like not enough to make a living. So the money is enough for eating. I can guarantee you that. Like if you cook, if you do your groceries, you're gonna be fine. In general, LA is an expensive city. Something that maybe you might consider is like for me, transportation in terms of doing something out of campus it's a big expense because everything is sort of far at USC, sorry, at LA. But if you keep inside campus, like going to classes and all this kind of stuff, transportation is going to be really easily because it's basically walkable. If you want to explore some other places, you might need to spend some Ubers and that becomes more costly. But food wise, around the same prices, like 80, $70 per week, depending on how much you do. But you're gonna be safe on that. I just like having like extra fun or going to other places outside of campus, like doing things on your own, might get a little costly based that LA is an expensive city in general.
Also, like I just remember like
Mhm.
your plan for your phone. That's around
Oh,
$20 to $30 per month, I would say. It's not that bad actually. It depends on which plan you want, but I would say $20 to $30 is a good estimate per month.
yeah. I was paying almost like $50, $60 because I got a new phone because my phone was really old. And also the providers here didn't took my Chinese phone in here. So I had to get a phone, but I was paying around 60, including like paying for the phone and paying for the service. So it was sort of okay and within the monthly budget that I could afford.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
I was going to ask you about maybe additional financial aid opportunities you found once you got there, like for example, after some time being there and getting into a TA or working on campus, or maybe just a scholarship that came up or something like that. If you could share like your experience, if you found those opportunities or not, of the if you hear
Well, you know, I'll say something really quick. I can't work because of the type of grant that I have. It depends on the kind of grant that you have. And it depends on your department, because if you want to work, you have to get permission not only from the US government, but from your department. So that's the first thing I would say. So be aware that if it depends on the kind of scholarship that you have, whether you'll be allowed to work or not. I am not allowed to work, so I'm expected to be a full-time researcher. But I'm not allowed to work, but I am allowed to look for grants and support. So I have applied to a number of little grants and little awards within the university. So every university has usually little websites where you can apply. So I've gotten maybe $500 here to do for a specific project. I've gotten $1,000 grants to go to conferences, and I've gotten extra money because I have to take care of my mom at home because of my living condition, and I've gotten some support to help my mom, but you have to be looking for those. So I think those two things. First, ask your program first about this. It's a difficult question to ask sometimes. It's uncomfortable, but I think it's important that you make sure that you're not thinking things that your program's not going to allow you to do. And the other thing is, like, there's a lot of little grants within, the university itself, and sometimes even outside the university.
Good. Jorge?
Oh, Simon, are you applying to PhD or master's?
Masters.
Okay, yeah, because that's the difference. The Iskar, it's a PhD, so that's why he's not allowed to work. But for most of the masters, I think we're allowed to work like as any international student, like up to 20 hours a week. However, something that we noticed, like this depends on your situation with Fulbright, because every country is different. Every country manage the scholarship very different. So for example, in Mexico, so there's a table that we use to calculate how much money we need and how much money they give us, like as a stipend. So if we don't need, so this is hard to explain. So after all the scholarships that we have, and after all the money that Fulbright will give us, if we complete the budget, or like in terms of tuition, living expenses, and all that, if you work and earn more money, the Fulbright is gonna reduce your stipend. So that's something that you need to think, or you need to check with your Fulbright advisor. I'm not sure if you already are in contact with your advisor, your IIE advisor, or any agency that you're working with. But yeah, you need to ask first if you're allowed to work, and if your Fulbright will not be reduced, because it's something that you need to think about it. So if they're gonna reduce your stipend, there's no need to work, I think, unless you're, I don't know, getting more experience or something like that. But yeah, there are some situations like that you need to think about it.
Yeah, right. In my case, it's mainly because I didn't get a tuition reduction, or a big enough tuition reduction from USC. So any work I can get, obviously on campus, I'm following the Fulbright guidelines for the master programs here in Argentina, would be to try to pay for the tuition. So I don't think like a reduction of the Fulbright grant would apply in that case. Another thing that would be nice to discuss is the safety regarding maybe public transportation, and also like commuting and things like that in general. Do you feel safe walking on the streets on LA? There are because we all have seen the movies and all the like crackheads going around in LA, and all the big news about drugs and fentanyl and things like that. So
Yeah, Simon, those are completely good questions. But before we get into that special topic, because for us, I think that's a really special topic. Alan maybe wants to finish the idea on the other topic, and then we switch to the safety stuff.
Yeah, just something quick. So I'm doing volunteering work, and I decided to not get paid just because I wanted to get experience. I'm working with a professor at his lab, and also I have this position, the ambassador, graduate student ambassador for Viterbi, which is also a paid position. But I'm not getting paid because if I would like getting paid, my Fulbright stipend gets reduced. But I'm just doing it like just for fun and to like increase, like get more experience in leadership, communication skills, and of course like getting this research experience in like in this environment. That's why like I'm doing this way. But yeah, you want to jump into the safety topic?
Just something quick, just to give you like a little experience from my side, because I don't have the restriction according to work. So Nicaragua never put me a restriction. The only restriction that I sort of found is that having a campus job is way easier than having an off-campus job. So that's something really important, because I work in a research lab and I get paid 20 hours during the semester. So that's a way that I am doing some extra money that I actually get. I don't know if someone else wants to say something about this topic, and then we can switch to the big topic of
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah, I want to add before going to security and before going to with Andre, I just wanted to add because he also has like opportunities for on-campus jobs. So yeah, there are, as Kelvin said, there are a lot of, I think there are a lot of options for on-campus job. However, like in computer science, it's a little bit difficult to get RAs or TAs positions, because it's a big department, so there's a lot of competition. And also like as long as I know, for RAs and also TAs, there are reserved for PhD students at the beginning. So after that, if there are some positions available, you can get, of course. But yeah, in CS, it's a little bit hard to get those positions, but you can get other types of positions. You can be ambassador. There are other options. And also, I think like you can apply to labs in another departments, and as long as you have like the skills that they require, that's also an option too. So yeah, there are, for on-campus jobs, I say there are a lot of opportunities, but you need to like keep applying and start looking as soon as you can. Yeah.
Maybe
Now I
the
think
tool
we can jump.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
maybe the tool that she's actually from computer science has any better opinion
yeah.
on that. If,
Hello.
yeah,
About that question, yeah, like the different countries have different responsibilities for the Fulbrighters. For my case, like for the Turkey, you can have a letter from your job that says this money is supplementary to Fulbright grant. And if you have that paper, they cannot deduct this amount from your scholarship. So like there are some countries who does that, and you can ask your home country about that situation, and it might be the case for you too. For my case, I didn't know that, and I heard of it from my friend, and then I learned about it. So it is definitely a good idea to check that. And for the computer science, there are lots of research opportunities. For example, currently I am working for 2 different research labs. At first, like it is unlikely for you to get paid from the beginning, but like you can start as volunteering, and if your lab receive a budget, the professor is more likely to like start paying to you. So like it's a good option for making money and for your resume. So I definitely recommend that.
I think Andre has a question.
Yes, please. It is about the same subject. It is regarding my expenses and job opportunities. So I just sent something into the chat box. So I looking at the numbers, and there's something called monthly maintenance rates for 2020, 2021. That's the file I got. And it says it is around $2,260 every month. So that's the number I got. I think there's no update to this file, right? This is the one you work with when you were doing your numbers? Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Exactly that one.
So, like, is that amount, like, in your opinion, like, sufficient to pay for housing, food, and personal expenses? Like,
I
does
don't
it
think
work
so.
out?
I mean, for
No?
me, definitely
Uh-huh.
no. I don't know if you go to the cheapest accommodation and like try to do the cheapest things you could get that amount, but I don't know. I doubt it.
Like, in your opinion, Alan, like, how much overboard do you go? Like, $3,000, 2,400, like, a little
Uh,
higher?
it's difficult to say. I couldn't give you a number because it would depend on the situation. It will
Yeah,
depend
because I
on what
mean,
type of room you get and how much you're willing to pay for your
yeah,
food and yeah, all that
yeah.
stuff.
Because I mean, for the math I'm doing, if I go overboard, they reduce my stipend in Fulbright, right? So like this is the official number I have to work with. But if I work on campus or something else, they will reduce my stipend. So how does that work? Like,
That's always been the issue. Like a lot of us have complained about updating these numbers because they just don't make any sense anymore. Like I think like since you mentioned it's been like 4 years or 3 years
Yeah.
and they haven't updated that amount. And they know, like we have talked to our IIE advisor and they know that it just doesn't make any sense. They say they are working on the update for these numbers, but yeah, what we have done is just try to take like I don't know. It's not like take advantage of the system, but just try to make it work in a way that uh, if you have any room, like if you I don't know, you do the math and there's like you're missing $100 to get to the amount that you need. Just try to find a job. Like we currently have jobs as student ambassadors, some of us, and that's a really like easy job. It's just like 1 or 2 hours per week. There is a very wide variety of campus jobs available. Try to search for something like that. You can always apply to those kind of jobs, and in some cases they will accept that you get paid for this job. In some others, they're not that flexible. I mean, they would reject you. I would say a good rule of thumb would be like asking whoever is offering you a campus job to make you the favor of inputting, like they have to fill out a form for you and send it to Fulbright with the information of the position that you're being offered. I would say like ask them to specify like, hey, can you write down like I will only be working 1 hour per week or 2 hours per week. So if it's a small amount, Fulbright might be able to say like, okay, yeah, let this guy work. It's just going to be 1 hour, 2 hours, and then in reality you can work more hours. But this is off the records, by the way. Like here, I'm not supposed to be. I'm not sure I'm supposed to be telling you this. But yeah, that's the best thing you can do, because I know what you mean. I know the struggle, and it has happened to several of us.
You are supposed to be telling this, Alan.
yes, thank you. Because like my concern is like that number is not enough. But if I work on my own, they will reduce my stipend. And I'm like, what's the point in working? It'll reduce my stipend. Like this number doesn't add up. So yes, like your experiences will help me a lot because I don't know how to navigate through this.
Also, Jorge, sorry to interrupt. Maybe if we can put like some time to talk about safety. But like we can like share our contacts and we can have like more discussions like one-on-one. But just for the sake of time for the others that are here, maybe we can share something quick about safety so you can have an idea. I know all these topics are important just for the ease of time.
So I'll
Okay,
say
so
something really quick, just really fast about, the people on the streets. Like I spend a lot of time on the streets actually because I use the public transportation for 2 hours and I cross Compton and I have to cross Inglewood. And if you guys look up Compton and Inglewood and Long Beach, they're not nice places. And some parts are not nice. But it, it's the same. I don't know if you guys are, I mean, I think you guys are from Mexico, but if you go to a bad neighborhood in Mexico, it's the same. If you walk confident and you're careful, you're gonna be fine. I mean, it's different. It's like, I'm gonna say, los dos hablan español, entonces lo voy a decir en español, pero es otra especie de zombies, ¿no? O sea, en la Ciudad de México hay especies de zombies que te espantan. Digo, si son de Monterrey, pues seguramente en la colonia Independencia hay zombies, ¿no? Acá también hay zombies, son otra especie de zombies. Dice mi esposa que los zombies latinoamericanos son peligrosos porque tienen hambre, porque no hay oportunidades de trabajo, entonces hay que robar. Los zombies acá son otra especie porque acá sí hay oportunidades de trabajo, pero no trabajan, esos güeyes sí están medio locos. Entonces son peligros un poco distintos. Entonces, pero si te acostumbras y sabes manejar como los niveles de locura de la gente, porque literal, la gente que está en la calle en Los Ángeles, a diferencia a la que te topas en Latinoamérica, es porque tienen un problema de salud mental, no porque no tengan dinero. Y esa es una gran diferencia. Entonces, sí te espantas más, pero pues tienes que acostumbrar y aprender a manejar esas situaciones. O sea, de repente se te acercan y te platican y pues hay que tranquilo platicar como, ¿sabes? Llevársela, ¿no? Fluir un poquito con esos güeyes. Pero en fin, eso les diría yo sobre el tema de seguridad en la calle.
Yeah,
Gracias, Luz.
pretty valid. Someone else has an input into safety.
Well, hmm. Yeah, it's good that it's kind of like talk about like all the area like around LA, not just USC. But I think, well, in my case, around USC it's okay, I think. Although in campus as well. I don't know if you have other opinions, but yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things going on, but it's because it's LA. It's like a huge city. There are a lot of things. Hi, how are you? But yeah, I mean, for me on campus, it's for me it's safe. I feel safe.
In my case, just to say something quick, I phrase it always like this. The area around USC is not the nicest. So you don't have the feeling of safety in general, but nothing bad has happened to me, at least. But the feeling itself is not the nicest one. So you can go into a bus and then you listen to the zombie like screaming and you get intimidated, but they are like on their own world. As long as you don't deal with them and you don't go like to the bad areas and you keep like how to behave, you're gonna be fine. But the feeling, you might lack it, the feeling of safety.
Yeah, I have exactly the same opinion. And the good thing about USC is that from 6 p.m. onwards, there are these, like, they call them yellow jackets, which are just like security ambassadors. I wouldn't say they are policemen, not even, they don't have a gun or anything, but they're just security guys watching over every corner. And if you're walking home and it's dark, you will always see these guys wearing their yellow jackets or yeah. And yeah, it's as Kelvin says, nothing. I have never had the experience of someone actually like touching me, like getting to a point of just like annoying me and just either punching me or pushing me or whatever. You see these crazy people in the metro or in the streets. Um that's going to happen. They're always gonna be there. Um but I don't know. As a man, I think your feeling of safety is better than as a woman. Like
Yes.
I myself, I don't care walking around late at night in LA or using the metro at night, but my wife, she wouldn't go out by herself at night at least. So yeah, as a guy, I would say it's definitely better.
Yeah, maybe Betul has another approach as a girl, because I do think I'm not trying to have any feminist or sexist, but it could be a different experience. Maybe Betul can share her experience too.
Yeah, like it's definitely a little bit harder if you're a woman. For me, I don't walk around after hours, so like if it's darker, I try to not walk to places, and we have free lifts up, so like you can basically call lift between 6 p.m. until the morning. So whenever I need to go somewhere, I either use lift or I go with people. I think it's the safer way of doing it. And like I unfortunately encountered with something unfortunate. And after that, I became more careful. And if you are more careful, like you definitely find some ways to reach the dangerous situation. But you have to learn how to live in LA, I would say.
Um, Someone else, or just let Andrea make your question. Yeah, go, Andrea.
Yes, thank you. I want to ask a question to Betul. It is regarding the master's. So I'm interested in the program for scientists and engineers. So I come from a mechatronics engineering background, so I don't have much experience in programming. And this program is special for those of us who want to make a transition in computer science. So my question is, how can I best prepare for the program? Like in the meantime, like what do you suggest I study? Like maybe like some Java, data structures, I don't know, anything helps.
Yeah, so we have an additional course that we need to take as scientists and engineers students. And this course is basically about Java. So like they are teaching you how to code in Java, and they are teaching you object-oriented programming. If you have no experience with object-oriented programming, this course would be a little bit harder for you. So my recommendation for you is just like getting prepared for this course, just learning the basics of the Java, learning the basics of the object-oriented programming. And after that course, like you feel more comfortable with coding.
Okay, thank you, Betul. Are you in the same program or are you in another track?
I am also in the same program. I am doing for scientists and engineers.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I think we need to wrap up the chat, but thank you for coming. I hope we help to answer some of your questions. I think we can share so the people here that are ambassadors, we can share the ambassador chat career link so we can chat. And if you need like to talk with someone else like Kelvin, Iskar, we can also like share their contact there. So yeah, but yeah, thank you for joining the session. And all the best. Like if we were in your shoes, and we know how you can feel. You need to take a big decision, but we hope it's will be the best for you, even if it's USC or not USC. All the best.
Yeah, I completely agree. Also, I just share my email on the chat. If any of you has any questions, I'm not an ambassador as Jorge and Alan. They're like more trained and a specific role for that. But I'm more than welcome to help on anything, and we understand, as Jorge said, where you are. And there's a lot of questions, so we can try to help you as much as we can.
Thank you. Where did you share your email, Kelvin? I don't see it in the chat box.
I see. I'll put
I
it on the
think
chat.
you have to select all everyone instead
Yeah,
of
you just send it to the
Oh,
hosts
my
and
bad.
panelists. You already have your email, Kelvin. We don't need it.
Okay, I will not share it. You can contact Alan
I don't
directly
need
then.
it, so yeah.
No, I think that reaching to any of us, it will be basically the same because we are really well connected. I see Alan, I see the Allans, the Jorges everywhere, so we're pretty well connected. But just in
Yeah.
case it's in there.
Okay. Perfect. One more question to Betul, just quick question. Is it okay if I add you to LinkedIn? I have a few questions about the program.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Perfect. I just sent you a request. Thank you, Betul.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure.
She's also in Unibody, and if you chat with her in Unibody, she gets paid. So
Yeah, I'm gonna
think
share my Unibody
that's
account
better
with
for
you.
her.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
we can both benefit from that. Yeah. Thank you, Alan.
Perfect.
Take care,
Nice,
guys. It
nice
was very
talking to
great
you
talking
guys.
to
Have a
you.
good one.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you. Good luck,
It
guys.
was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. See you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Thank you.